Have you ever had a scene in your life where everything seemed to fall apart? You were doing your best, praying, believing, staying faithful, and yet nothing went as planned. Maybe you lost your job, your relationship ended, or a door you were sure God opened suddenly slammed shut, and you couldn't help but ask, God, why is this happening? Friend, I want to remind you of something powerful today. Your setback is not the end, it's a setup. What feels like a step backward is often the very thing God uses to move you forward. Sometimes, before God promotes you, He allows you to experience what feels like failure. But it's not failure, it's formation. It's in those hard seasons that He shapes your faith, strengthens your character, and teaches you to rely fully on Him. Think about Joseph in the Bible. God gave him a dream that one day he'd be in a position of greatness. But before that dream came true, Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and later imprisoned for something he didn't do. Talk about a setback. But what Joseph didn't know was that every setback was actually setting him up for his destiny. If he hadn't been betrayed, he wouldn't have ended up in Egypt. If he hadn't gone to prison, he wouldn't have met Pharaoh's officials. And if he hadn't met them, he wouldn't have been brought before Pharaoh himself. The very thing that looked like the end was the bridge to his blessing. Genesis 52:20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." That verse is proof that God can take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it into something beautiful. Your setback isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to develop you. Maybe right now you're in that season, things aren't going as planned. You feel overlooked, rejected, or forgotten. But I want you to know this: God hasn't abandoned you. He's using this time to prepare you for what's coming next. Think of a bow and arrow. Before the arrow can fly forward, it must first be pulled backward. The tension, the pressure, the pulling, all of it is necessary for the arrow to reach its full potential. That's what your setback is doing. It's creating momentum for your breakthrough. In Romans 8:28, we're reminded, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Notice it says all things, not just the good things. God uses your mistakes, your heartbreaks, your losses, and even your disappointments to bring you closer to your purpose. Maybe that door that closed wasn't rejection, it was redirection. Maybe that relationship that ended wasn't punishment, it was protection. Sometimes God has to remove what's comfortable to make room for what's greater. You see, God sees the bigger picture. You're only seeing the chapter you're in, but He already knows how your story ends. What looks like a detour to you might be the exact path that leads you to your destiny. Think about David. Before he became king, he faced a giant named Goliath. That moment could have been a setback, a terrifying obstacle that ended everything. But David's faith turned his fight into favor. The giant he faced wasn't meant to destroy him. It was meant to reveal him. And that's what God is doing with you. The challenge in front of you isn't meant to break you, it's meant to build you. So don't despise your scene of setback. Don't let the waiting make you weary or the struggle make you give up. What you see as delay, God sees as development. Every disappointment, every closed door, every no, it's all part of God's divine setup for something greater. He's positioning you for the promise. When the time is right, the same God who allowed the setback will reveal the setup. And when He does, you'll look back and realize it was all necessary. The pain had a purpose. The delay had direction. The setback had strategy. So today, lift your head and strengthen your heart. God is still in control. He's still faithful. And your story is far from over. What you're facing right now isn't a dead end, it's divine preparation. Your setback is setting you up for something bigger, better, and more beautiful than you ever imagined. If you believe this word, type Amen in the comments. Declare it over your life today. My setback is not my end, it's my setup for God's greater plan. Because soon, the very thing that was meant to break, you will be the testimony that blesses others. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and turn on the notification bell so you can receive a notification when we drop a new video. May God bless you as you do so.